wearing a green shirt though, and we are live. Welcome to LB0 Fox India live, and actually I got two guests today. I got LB4FH Kjetil, or Bob as he calls himself in English.
Bob.
And right below me, right there, is probably a familiar face for a lot of you guys. Steve, welcome.
Morton, if you can't figure out how to point down.
yeah, but
that way.
It's kind of down at an angle though.
Yeah.
So
The left and right thing is bad because that's my left and my right, and you are not on my left in person, but you're on my left on screen. So I'm pointing at Bob, but really I'm pointing at Morton. Streaming is hard.
Exactly,
folks.
and when I watch other people stream, I know that I'm not the only one. So
I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain.
There's a hidden setting called mirror my camera.
Yeah, but then my words are backwards if I do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Details.
So you get yelled at for that.
I brought you guys along because you guys are the two people I know that knows most about the 6100. And that's kind of today's topic. And we're going to try and see if we can get ready to work on the radio, or at least using the radio somehow, because you got a message on Toad's Discord about a week ago, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah. To come join the live stream or another message?
No, the message about, and I haven't done my homework, so I can't remember his name, though, but he was wondering on how to do RTTY on the 6100.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like, there's a RTTY terminal, like, way back to 1940s or so, where it's a physical piece of hardware, kind of looks like a typewriter, but it's not really a typewriter, and then there are data terminals, RTTY terminals, where they just spit out whatever they hear and don't transmit. And then there's modern radios that have RTTY decoders built in. The X6100 has a RTTY decoder built in, but as far as I know, it only decodes one type of RTTY. And then never done sending.
Let's just take a look at that because I got a really bad camera pointed at my radio here. So let's see here. And just excuse my focus issues because this is a 15-year-old webcam.
It's hard to focus on that screen anyway with a camera.
Yeah.
But the second most right button here says rate and speed, and you can set the bit rate on that, and you can set something called RTTY shift here as well. I don't know a lot about RTTY though. I've done a live stream on it a while ago, part of my Digimode Monday series. And let's see if we can get you guys in picture again though. And I was able to do it there because all the people in the stream were running RTTY as well. So hopefully some of you guys nearby could do some RTTY so we can get some action up on screen because I can't really hear any RTTY signals today.
Yeah, my first experience with RTTY or with the teletype was at electronics club at my university, where we had one of the old teletype 33s, like it's a desk-sized machine with a keyboard, and it spat out paper ribbons. It was amazingly cool, but it wasn't hooked up to anything. But it was like so nice.
Yeah, and actually, when I did my RTTY stream, one of the viewers, I think it was Bert Klaas from Belgium. He sent pictures of his RTTY terminal from the 80s, complete with a CRT monitor and a keyboard, decoding the RTTY messages, and that was really awesome.
Yeah, but lots of military stuff that used it.
Yeah, and it's actually teletype over radio, so it is basically the same as telex for those of us who are old enough to remember telex.
Yeah,
and you seem to be doing some Digimodes there, Steve.
I'm listening to 20 meters 14080.5, which is the RTTY frequency over here. So I can hear it.
And I think,
well, that's the JS8 called, isn't
it? It sounds more like JS8 call than it does like RTTY.
Yeah. Because RTTY is usually here in Europe at 14060 or 80 plus.
So that was the first thing I was looking for, was a page that had, where to go to listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 20 meters is completely dead here, so we're stuck to 40 and 80 actually for exploring RTTY today. So and we got a couple of the usual guys in the chat. I've really forgotten to say welcome to everyone here. But Stuart M0TTQ's here, Andy's here, of course, Lionel, Stian, LB3FJ is here. And I think those are the people that have said hi in the chat as far of now. And let's see if I can find the message here. And Stuart says the last time he did RTTY, he used a ZX Spectrum to do the work.
Nice.
And you got a little bit of experience with those, Steve.
I do, yeah. So on one of my other YouTube channels, Temporarily Offline Retro Tech, I play with old computers, and I've built a ZX81 from scratch bare circuit board kit, and I built a Commodore 64 from scratch, another bare circuit board kit. I've repaired a whole bunch of retro computers. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was.
It is.
I saw a really cool thing when I started doing CAD work in like computer-aided design work, and like the system that runs all of the 3D models for Norway's oil rigs, it still uses RTTY or teletype as the communication model. It's just a legacy thing in the background. So it has full teletype support. You could plug it into this X6100 and send things extremely slowly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like its legacy application going back to the 60s. But of course, it's also modernized slightly.
So, but back to the X6100 RTTY. I think the solution, or part of the solution, is actually to use FLRig and FLDigi to see if we can get it to work, because using it through the radio is extremely complicated. And if I can just make my computer work like I'd like it to, it'd be a lot better. So let's see. I at least have prepared as much as I have FLRig up and running. And let's see if I can get it to start as well. But I haven't set it up with the 6100, but you got some experience there, Seattle. You helped me with the WinLink with the radio.
Yep, should be basically the same. So just remember what I told you the last time.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Stuart, I told you. You'll be fine.
We used the 705, didn't we, for WinLink?
Yeah, but basically any ICOM rig, IC7100, ICOM 7000, all of those should work because CAGU just ripped off parts of their control set.
Yeah.
And
I'm just gonna see if I can figure out the right COM port here as well.
Usually COM4, if that's what you have there.
It is COM3 and COM4, so let's try COM4.
Yeah.
And even set a COM port, because I didn't do that when I tried to hook it up first time. COM4 did not work. Let's try COM3.
Looks better.
Yep.
That looks a lot better. And we are up and running. So now
love that wallpaper, by the way. That's great.
Yeah.
I just Googled for ham radio wallpapers.
We have
what
that.
I'm missing is what I'm missing here is actually FLDigi. So we can show people where to download that as well.
How to install it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's do this live. So.
Yep. Actually, I've never used FLDigi. I've installed it and used it as like a background application for others, but I never used the application itself.
Let's see, FLDigi and download. And this is just so ham radio, this website.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find, there we go, setup exe. And hope that my 4G based internet works out. Still waiting for fiber. Not here yet, but
keep waiting.
The fiber van has been in the neighborhood a couple of times, so I'm just waiting for my turn.
Van.
Yeah. And it's downloaded.
He's got free internet
so,
in the back. Seems legit.
Yeah. Well, it's anything but free, but at least it's working internet.
Ja. I know
You
enough
have-
Norwegian to know what that word means.
Somebody actually has their computer in Norwegian. That is amazing.
Yeah, I always do them in Norwegian.
Yeah, I guess it's
So-
kind of some sort of security issue or thing. Like,
It's a security by obscurity.
Right.
yeah, it stops all the hackers.
Yeah. Let's see. And this is completed. So let's fire up FLDigi. This goes, at least this far, it goes pretty smoothly. And while I'm doing this, I saw you made a video on that alternative firmware for the
I did.
X6100.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Oleg, R1 CBU wrote that. He wrote the front end, and then CT7ALW wrote the the open boot, so the Linux kernel that runs underneath of it. He was able to
Yeah.
get that to be all open source and all in-house, and then the frame buffer to get the video up, and then Oleg built on that and built out the new user interface. And it's still a work in progress. So there's a lot of things that don't work because they haven't even been started to be worked on. Like there's no cat control because he hasn't written cat control. But he's got a vision. Oleg has this vision of having the radio download and decode FT8 directly without running the FT8 app, without running a Linux front end and a desktop environment. It just does it right there on the screen that you see. And so he's got a long vision, and he's a one-man army. So we'll see how far he gets to go.
That looks amazing. And
Yeah, I
it
played
is
a
good.
little bit around with it today. Yeah, I played around with it earlier today. I released a video on it as well, and it's got a lot of potential. The only thing I noticed was that my radio was running really, really hot while doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see
But that's
here.
more of the fault of the
And,
radio. That's just the way they are.
Yeah.
And that waterfall looked
but
a lot
it-
more
it-
intense.
Yeah, it did. And it looked kind of like the demo scene on Commodore 64 and Amiga, actually.
Yeah.
That was my first. So let's see here. We're actually up with RTTY and 14060. Okay, we're not set up. Strangely enough, we're not set up with rig control here on FLDigi. Let's figure out where to do that.
Yep. I see you need some call signs as well.
I probably need a lot in here. I'm not used to setting things up from scratch, but let's see here. Config dialog. And it's kind of hard to type with the mic in the way, but
Yeah, I recently just went through a lot of old Fluorfana logs and uploaded to POTA, and one of them is RTTY only activation. And something I did back in 2017.
So you've done a POTA activation with a RTTY.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And let's see
Nice,
here.
I
Enable
don't think I'll do
FL
that again.
So I should be good here. Enable FLRig transceiver control with FLDigi as client. And that should be it. And let's check the sound card settings here. There we go. And something is actually happening here.
Hey, Tim and Christopher in the chat. Welcome, guys.
I forgot to look at the at the chat actually, but Tim's here, and Tim's actually going to be on here in 2 weeks, talking about antenna modeling. So a subject I know absolutely nothing about, but I'd like to learn a little bit about. And let's see here. I'm just going to save this and close this. So it looks like we're at least decoding something on the screen here. It doesn't look correctly, but there's something coming.
Yeah, looks like you have the input volume a bit too low. You can see on the bottom right.
Yeah, but there's almost nothing on my waterfall as well here, though. I'm just going to run the tuner as well. So let's check the Windows sound card settings here. And this is probably the slowest computer ever. Let's see here. Turn the volume up a little bit and see what happens. But there's almost nothing on the waterfall on the radio as well here, though. So that might be it also.
But that brings you to one of the points what I like the most about RTTY. Like FT8 works, even if you have a crappy like environment, like there's nothing going through the ionosphere. FT8 works. RTTY doesn't. It does require some skill to actually operate it. It's more of an analog version of a digital mode, so it can be challenging and can be fun. So RTTY contests are really fun, actually.
Yeah, but let's just throw a CQ out here, though. I'll turn the power up, though. Let's
give it the full 10 watts.
Except
War
that
criminal.
the radio. Let's see here. I probably got to exit the RTTY modem mode on the radio, though. Yep, full 10 watts, and let's see if I can do CQ here and see what happens. And I guess that audio is not going where it's supposed to go.
I hear it in my ear.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Where do I stop this?
It stopped. Ta-da! You fixed it.
It stopped. Let's go back to the sound card settings.
Configure menu at the top.
And gear menu where?
Configure menu at the top. There you go.
Yep. Let's see. Sound card devices. And it actually has the right...
That one.
Yeah, but that's the audio alerts, though. And
so at the top where it says port audio capture and playback USB audio device, that's
yeah,
right?
That is right, because that is the X6100. So let's just do it like this and see what happens. Let's see who's in the chat here. We have got Bor here. And Tim's here. You already said that. So, and if you guys have any experience with this in the chat, please feel free to play along. Let's see what happens now.
Yeah, it still sounds like the wrong sound device.
Yeah, it is still the PC speakers, though.
So at the very bottom of your screen, there's a whole bunch of buttons. One of those is the stop button.
Yep.
And that's not it. So hit the TR button at the end.
Oh. Yeah, it stopped.
Got it just in time.
Let's just check. And it actually has set up the sound card for this. And
if you go to open that menu again. No, not that one. On the bottom right of your start menu, the audio one.
Yeah.
And just don't open that menu, but click on the volume icon.
Yeah.
And then click on the speakers to the right there.
Yeah. And it says USB audio device. We can change that to the speakers, though, because we don't want everything to go through the radio. And
try restarting the app. Sometimes you have to do that with WSJTX as well.
Yeah. We'll restart FLDigi and see what happens.
I love these old vintage menus. Like they feel like Linux during the 2000s.
Yeah, but I mean, it works though. The strange thing is, though, we got some kind of decoding going on here, but there's nothing on the waterfall, and there's really nothing on the radio.
It will decode anything, basically, to whatever is the closest.
And at least we're transmitting,
Yep.
but we have no power going out
But
from the radio.
you tune the radio, right?
Yeah, I tuned the radio.
And then usually you have to means that you have to restart it when you're doing digimodes with the X6100. I don't know why,
Yes.
but it's always like that.
Do you have that experience, Steve, with the 6100?
So normally I don't do rig control, but I did get rig control set up on mine, and mine does appear to be transmitting. But then there's a question of, do we do upper sideband or lower sideband? Most digital modes are upper sideband, but
Yeah,
This is
Ricky is
not-
upper.
this is not a typical.
Yeah,
this is not technically a digital mode.
that is actually really this is a really valid point. It's supposed to be upper sideband though, so
So I am in upper sideband, and I am
just-
on the same frequency, 7105.7.
yeah. And it's not supposed to be 7105.7 anyway. It's supposed to be 7060. And it's probably easier to use the wheel on the radio. Okay, so let's go ahead here and see what happens. And now we got a whooping 10 watts of radio going out.
Yeah, you had to restart it.
Yep.
Yeah, that is a strange thing with Sega, but when you're doing rig control, you have to reboot it afterwards if you tune.
Yeah, and actually the webcam showing the radio, that's froze, so I'm not able to show what happens here. But I think we're going out though, except that there's probably no one listening for us.
I'm not hearing you.
Nah, it'd be strange if I was able to reach Wisconsin on 10 watts on 40 meters now though.
And there's somebody on that frequency over here.
Yeah, it's all quiet here though, so I can see a little bit of FT8 activity, but I'm not on the best antenna either. But I'm on the antenna that works on 80 meters, and I figured 80 meters might be a place to start. And I see that Jeff comments that radio follows the USB LSB form just like voice, so that means we're supposed to be in lower sideband now.
All right, let me change that over to lower sideband.
I've never run Ricky on lower.
No, I think I've always the one time I've done it, I think I did it on upper sideband. But let's switch the radio over to 80 meters here, and that is 3.57 is the 80 meter frequency for radio as far as I Googled earlier.
Well, that was your first mistake.
Google it? Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I could actually hear you on the LA5F SDR.
Okay, so that means that we're going out with something, and we got it to work, although there are no people to communicate with.
Yeah, or I heard
And
something on Ricky.
So, and I see you share your screen as well, Steve, so we can see what you figure out there.
Yeah, so I'm going to turn on my tuner because I don't have 80 meters resonant here. And then we'll try tuning. And we have tuned. And then I'll turn on
And
the
then again,
amplifier.
Steve,
What's that?
you're probably not in prime time for 80 meters anyway over in
For
Wisconsin.
local
though.
stuff, it wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
There's something going on that frequency on Digimode already. Not sure if it's noise or if it's Vara.
Okay, so that didn't work the way it was supposed to work.
I basically only have noise here, though.
it's pretty strong. It's 7.
But then,
But you can go both up and down. Like there's a RTTY signal on 35715.
35715.
715, yes.
Oh. I blew a circuit.
3.715.
No,
Fix that circuit real quick.
35715.
35715. Let's see what I can hear here. And at least I can hear something there. Not sure if it's radio or not, but since Steve went away, we can switch back to my screen here, though.
Yeah. No, it's gone now, anyways, but somebody was calling there.
Yeah, because I think I figured that out when I did my radio stream, though, that it was a couple of different frequencies for it.
Yeah.
Well, FT8 is a lot simpler. There's pretty much...
RTTY is all over the place,
and
except during contests.
Yeah. So, and I still got something decoding here, but I can't really hear anything here.
Yeah, but it will decode even if you put it in a dummy load. So
yeah,
it will decode noise to random stuff.
And now, of course, now I tuned the radio, so now I gotta restart the radio again.
I really do wonder why that happens, but when you tune it, it kills the audio input, apparently.
Yeah, and Iowa Hank actually could hear Steve, but he's too lazy to figure out really right now. And that's one of those things, though. A lot of those digimodes are actually older digimodes and not that used when there's no contests going on. And and then again, why should you? I mean, why should you bother with them? I'd like to bother with them from a technical perspective and see if I'm able to get them to work. And that's what I did with my Digimode Monday series. And I don't know, what Digimodes do you use, Kjetil, except for RTTY that you don't really use, and FT8?
I use FT4 a lot, basically because on 20 meters, FT8 is too crowded to be running 5 or 10 watts. Even the band is either the band is too bad or it's too crowded. So so I use that. I've tried different Vara chat, but nobody there. JS8 call. I tried Whisper just for the fun of it, but that's not a QSO mode.
So Steve, did you figure out your circuit?
I did. I had to go down to the basement and flip the circuit breaker. It was minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit this morning here in Wisconsin, so I have a heater running, which is plugged into the same circuit as the radio and the amplifier, which they're not happy. I actually have 2 circuits, but everything's plugged into the one circuit out here.
Yeah. So, and while you were away, Iowa Hank said that he might hear you on RTTY, but he's too lazy to try it out right now. So
it's some effort.
And also, we haven't used RTTY since the early 70s. And that was actually before my parents thought of me, so I wouldn't have used RTTY back then. But I've rebooted my radio again, and I'm just going to try a CQ on 80 here and see if anything happens.
Yeah, I can't see anything on 160 either.
No, so I'm on 3571.5 right now.
Yep.
And with a terrible SWR at about 2.
Ooh.
And I guess the internal tuner of the X6100 is not as good as my desktop tuner, though. So, And let's see here. Let's put the window up again, though. Let's see if that was the wrong button. And there's not really anything happening right now. So, but I'm just going to have a look at Clean Sheen was the one, KA0OD, as far as I can see here, was the one that was wondering about RTTY. And if you're watching, you can see that we're not able to do it properly as well.
Yep, that's my experience. For some of the contests I've tried to be part of, I just haven't gotten it to work properly. Or the conditions have to been too bad or too intermittent or whatever. So it is challenging digital mode, even if it's not very technically complicated. Like there's always something that can break and will break.
Yeah. And in case you're wondering how RTTY works, I got a stream out there from my Digimode Monday series. You can find it on my channel where I do RTTY and actually make it work. But I don't think we're gonna be able to do it successfully today, unfortunately.
And I'm gonna try 20 meters, just because.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, I'm going to switch over to your window there, Steve, and perhaps you have a little bit more luck.
I'll try 1490. See how 1490 works. All right, I hear nothing. I see nothing. Is it going to automatically tune itself? It's in tune enough.
Yeah, it doesn't auto-tune when it detects anything. Would be nice if it did.
Well, I have the tuner turned off in the X6100. And I do have all the filtering on. I should turn all the filtering off. So let's do that. Off.
It'd be really nice, though, to get hold of one of those old RTTY terminals. And it'd probably be an easier experience than what we're suffering through now.
Yeah, there's at the Technical Museum in Oslo, they have a radio antenna now, and they have a lot of nice equipment. So I'm sure it's possible to go there and do some testing. Yeah. One hint about this, if you're using this with another radio, don't put a notch filter on when you're trying to do RTTY or any other Digimode.
And I should switch this to...
keep it as open as possible. It's probably the best advice.
Yeah, I don't see any RTTY signals in Europe, at least, on that frequency.
No, and I see Stian comments that you wouldn't use RTTY on one of those terminals for POTA activation, and maybe for POTA, but not for SOTA. But this does not tempt me to try to do it portable, though.
I'd want to get really good at it as an in-home base station operator and know what I was doing. Like I'm a pro at FT8, so I have no problem going out and doing FT8 from a park. But I'd want to know a little bit more about this. I'd want to have 10, 15 QSOs under my belt.
Yeah. And know all the factors. And see, Todd comments that you're showing up on Ham Alert, Steve. So awesome. At least you're going out. And how much power are you running on your amp there, Steve?
102 watts. I've got the XPA 125B.
RTTY is a high-power Digimode. Like you don't run 5 watts. You run 500 or a kilowatt. Like it's that level mode. As much as you can push, basically.
So, and Stian says you would probably have to spot yourself in advance. And that was what I was trying to do by announcing this live stream.
Yeah, you would have to spot yourself, and you would have to have a lot of chasers that would actually like to spend an hour trying to set up RTTY or already have that done. So the amount of people is very little.
Yeah, but I managed to do that all the way through spring and summer with my Digimode Monday series, though. I even got people to try Hellschreiber, which, by the way, is a really fun Digimode.
I haven't tried it yet.
That's the one where it actually draws the letters on your screen. instead of sending
it's kind of
encoded text.
Yes, simulated paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
So, is anything happening on your screen there, Steve?
Nope, I'm calling CQ and I'm getting back some gibberish.
Yeah.
Nobody's answering though.
So while you're calling CQ, I'm just going to pull up another tab here, though, because we got a giveaway today.
Uh-oh. What are we giving away?
We're giving
you
away.
You
I
passed 900.
past 900, and I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers at the moment. I'm just going to pull up StreamYards. Thank you. And let's see here. I'm going to pull up the right window here, though. Just got to find the StreamYard giveaway tool. There we go. And I'll also be doing another giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. Then it'll be a DMR Baofeng, which I haven't been able to get to work on DMR, but it works like any Baofeng.
So,
and we're
as good as the amount of money you paid for it.
I didn't actually. Let's see. I'm gonna just do it like this, and I'm gonna share a screen. Yeah, I got it for free though, so it's absolutely as good as the money I paid for it. Even better than the money I paid for it.
Now, is that one of the ones that can do OpenGD77?
If you had a later version of it, it could. But
is this the early one?
Yeah, this is the early one, and it's supposed to be only tier 1, but it seems to be able to do tier 2.
Yeah, it can send on it, but it does mess up the repeaters. So
that probably explains why I can't hear anything anyway. But to be able to win, I'm just going to make myself big again. This non-green screen friendly ADS-B dipole, if you want to take a deep dive into spotting the planes overhead, this can be yours if you just type in the magic word in the chat. It's hashtag RTTY. So go ahead, people. Let's see if you want to win dipole. And both of you guys can join as well if you'd like.
I was going to anyway. I'm that kind of hand.
Yeah, I think people should send you this in over RTTY to actually have a chance to win.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome, and we might not be able to give it away though. So
maybe
because
I've
been looking at ADS-B actually a lot lately, and had a lot of fun with it, and spotting the planes overhead, and I got a motive for it though, and that's because there's a Air Force base nearby, and I'd like to see those planes and those choppers that the commercial ADS-B services filter out.
Have you done the SOTA summit next to it?
Riga?
Yes.
There's no SOTA summit next to that.
Yes, it is.
There are only 2 SOTA summits nearby, though.
Yeah, one of them is near the military airport.
Not really. It
used to be.
It depends how you define near, though. So
near enough that the military people didn't like me going there with antennas.
Okay, I got to check the SOTA map afterwards, and we can do this discussion after the stream, though, because I got a little bit of a hard time here. And Todd says he's hoping to pick up some SDR dongles for ADS-B at Hamcation.
They will be there, and you can get them. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm just using one of those cheap RTL SDR dongles, though. And Stian, who is from the area where the Air Force Base is, says there's a POTA part, but no SOTA. And considering how flat the landscape is around there, that would probably be correct. We got 14 entries and 25 viewers, so there's still room for a couple more.
And they're upside down.
And let's just, so I saw the Coffee and Ham radios. I'm just going to find you here, Steve. There you go. And glad to see that you figured out upside down and not mirrored.
Right. Yeah, so
for those
this
people.
top one does ADSB and this bottom one does ACARS, which is a US only flavor.
Yeah.
So
Well,
1090
ACARS,
megahertz and 978.
yeah, but ACARS is on VHF though, isn't it?
978 megahertz, so depends on what you call VHF and UHF and so on. But these things
Yeah.
have the TCXO inside. They have filters built into them, and then you get the right antennas for it. And I'm actually on my channel coming up. I'll be building a focus. I'll be building a what's it called? A Go box, which is this orange box back here, where you just turn it on, and it'll start providing data where you happen to be. And I'm eventually going to get it to do GPS and maybe even solar charge controlling. But there's a Raspberry Pi Zero 2W with a fancy case that gets you 3 USB ports and USB-C power input. And it'll all fit in the box. It'll be weatherproof, and you can sit it outside in the rain and track airplanes.
Yeah, that's nice. And only 16 entries now, 22 viewers, so there's room for a couple more as well. And Anton would like this one. He's also near a military airport. So we'll let this run for, let's see, a minute or two, and we'll see. We'll do the drawing and see who wins.
But getting the those receivers with TCXO is kind of important as far as understood. Like they're pretty. You get some of the really cheap ones without, and they are crappy.
Yeah. And I might need to wind up doing some heat management or something, but that's the whole point of the series, is to just go down the rabbit hole and learn what we need to learn, and eventually have this thing. I want to set up like a little QR code, so you walk up and scan it with your phone, and it'll get you able to be connected.
Yeah, that's really cool, Steve. And I mean, going down the rabbit hole is kind of the point of our hobby sometimes.
Exactly. I think that's the point all the time.
Yeah.
So somebody
somebody
just started sending JS8 on top of me.
we're at 16 entries. So I'll say 20 seconds more, and we'll do the drawing and see who wins here.
How many people are watching?
22 people at the moment. And that's actually really good. I usually have about 10 people watching, so I guess having 2 guests on helps a lot.
No offense,
except
Morton.
except last week when I had Mike on, then I had 40 viewers. So
nice.
But we're at 16 entries, and we will do the drawing and see who wins. Let's see.
Anton
here.
EHLW sounds like some kind of
Lionel.
Woohoo, Lionel.
Woohoo!
Congratulations, Lionel. And just send me your address on Discord, Lionel. I might have it from the last time you won, but just for me to be sure. And I'll get this in the mail as soon as possible. So congratulations, Lionel. Hope you're near an airport. So, we can get ready to work. But what's going on your channel there, Kjetil, at the moment?
Mostly it's portable operations, which is what I mostly do. Testing new editing software. Getting back into making videos. It's been a few years since I've done it actively, so it's nice to be back at it.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job on them as well. You're making the videos really, really watchable. You put in a lot of B-roll, which actually make them really entertaining. And I'm just going to share the link to your channel in the chat, though, Kjetil. So if anyone wants to subscribe, and they should. So, and your channel is pretty much about portable radio, isn't it?
It's basically because I don't have any option, but I did have a high power contest one from a club station. And there is a Bouvet expedition video coming up in 2 weeks or so, if they actually go ashore. There's my club station is going to have a Bouvet weekend. So we're going up there, and just basically everybody's going to run them until we get them.
So Lionel says, ham it forward.
Yeah, I'm on it. So I'm just gonna get the tool up and running again.
Rookie mistake, man. Don't close the tool until the deal is done.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Hopefully that we don't have to re-enter.
Oh, yeah,
You
you
have
do.
to re-enter. Yeah. And now it's ham it forward.
Yeah.
So there's a new chance for you. And Linus says it just felt good to be a winner. And
Lionel, you're
it
always a winner in my
absolutely, so, and LB1 November Hotel has joined us. Welcome, Aurel. And you can also win this nice little LB0 non-green screen friendly ADSB dipole if you just enter Hamid Forward, hashtag Hamid Forward in the chat.
I guess you could also build that or like rebuild it to work with other bands as well.
Yeah, you could. It's the regular centerpiece from my dipole, so you can actually rebuild it. And I'll even throw in two of the end pieces. Might be a different color because I kind of ran out of filament. Hopefully not in the middle of a print. I'll see that when I'm done with the stream.
It's a linked dipole. It starts off at 1090 megahertz and goes all the way to 160. Bring your own wire.
Yeah.
And a lot of links.
It's 150 meters on each side.
Yeah, it should probably cover a few of the gigahertz bands as well.
That's funny. It's funny that it doesn't even expand past the end of the frame.
Yeah,
and
it's
actually,
cute.
Yeah, Anton won an antenna. I was a little bit slow to ship it out, Anton. I'm sorry about that, but his wife thought it was Lego when it arrived in the mail. So I guess it kind of. I actually jiggled one of the kits around to see if it had somewhat of the same sound, and it actually does.
Yeah, it does.
Could you build a Lego antenna?
You can build an antenna out of anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be supports. I don't know if there's any metal Lego parts.
No, but like for the supports, that could be nice.
I actually got a lot of Lego lying around, so that might be a video.
If you had if you had some of the Lego Techniques sets, you could build a stepper motor controlled, delta loop that changed size depending on which band you were on. You could do that. That would be pretty cool.
Or a satellite tracker.
I have even better. I got that big Lego Mercedes dump truck with pneumatics, so I could use air pressure to if I just rebuilt the truck.
Nice.
So let's see. We're up to 13 entries now. Let's let it run for another 20 seconds, and we'll see.
Man, he just disappeared.
I guess something happened there.
Oh, wow. All right, you're gonna have to solo him for that one. Solo him up there.
Yeah, I'll do that. And
so this is Lego.
That is Lego. That
bought the whole store, did you?
No, but it was expensive enough.
Yeah.
And that is actually something that could be used to tune an antenna. At least some of those parts.
Yeah, this one has a lot of the parts, and that's the fun thing about Lego is like you learn engineering, you learn to build stuff and troubleshoot and just think out of the box. Like I have these parts, what can I do with them?
Yeah. And my son actually did that with his Lego sets. He built them, but before he was done, he started rebuilding everything.
Yeah.
And figure out what else he could do with it. And we're at 14 entries, so let's do another drawing and see who wins.
Big winner, big winner.
Yeah, or a new winner.
Steiner won. Congratulations. And actually, you have to just send me an email, and I'll put my email address in the chat. So just send me an email, and we'll figure mailing it out. And by that, I probably don't have to do any international postage, which turns out to be good. So congratulations, Steinar. And let's switch back to the regular view here. And so we got a winner. We talk about Legos and antennas, and I got somewhat of an antenna project going on though, because I got a family member that's
Ooh,
using
ooh,
crutches
ooh.
I
at
hear
the moment.
it.
Oh, my
Oh.
screen. My screen.
Your screen. Yeah.
KA4RSZ. I have no idea how to do this.
I think you can put in macros as well.
Yeah. N1MM does a great job on doing QSOs in that.
Yeah,
So you
I've
can-
actually been using Ham Radio Deluxe for a lot of those smaller digimodes because as long as you've set up your radio, it pretty much just works.
Okay, stop transmitting.
Yeah, so the signal report is 599 or whatever, like same as CW.
And Stian says you could use Meccano to build antennas, and that's completely correct.
Yeah,
There he
but
is.
But back to my antenna project, I got a family member on crutches at the moment, and I really want to see if I can get those to resonate on some band. So I might be doing that at one point.
Yeah, that sounds dangerous.
Well, I'm not thinking about letting her use the crutches while I try to make an antenna out of them, though.
Okay, good.
So
I'm not sure in that software, can you actually type while it's sending?
Yes.
Because usually you can that with RTTY, like it just keeps sending until you give up.
that's good. And you're actually advertising a little bit for my YouTube channel there, Steve. Nicely
Yeah.
done.
Hey, nice.
I don't know what else to
And-
say. I don't know the QSO format.
And Stuart says that 2 crutches sounds like a 6-meter-ish dipole to him. And that's actually, I think that's pretty much close, though. And
Yeah,
they're
they're
adjustable.
adjustable.
Yeah, so you can pretty much tune them a little bit at least.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
And Stian says new content, can it POTA? And yeah, probably. I'm not sure if I want to leave her alone without crutches for that long, though.
Yeah, you could drive to the POTA and just put her on the bench while you do the radio.
Yeah. So
I really do want to do a
K4RSC.
Will it tune video, just like driving around seeing what tunes. You know, like the big elk they have in Gudbrandsdalen, big statue, and that
yeah,
one
the
should
metal
work.
moose.
Yes.
The world's biggest moose.
Yeah.
Or actually, I think Canada actually surpassed us on the biggest moose. But
Yes.
Georgia. Wisconsin to Georgia. Nice.
Oh. Is that far?
that's pretty good.
For those of
It
us
is.
who's not
It is
familiar?
for everything in the U.S. Everything in the U.S. is further than it looks on a map, though.
So let's see. Wisconsin to Georgia. I was seeing if PSK Reporter would do spots. So Wisconsin on the map is right here.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia is right here.
Yeah, that's a nice
So-
distance.
Yeah.
Few thousand miles.
Yeah.
Or
Probably the same like from you to France
yeah.
as a guess.
Yeah, I'd guess so.
Yeah, that's about
So
1,200
and
kilometers.
I've actually got So I got personal experience by not being able to judge the scale of the distances in the U.S. when I did we did a road trip a month 5 years ago, and everything looks so much shorter on a map, and Google Maps were always too optimistic about how long it took to travel those distances.
I always add,
So, but I mean,
per hour, I'll add like 10 minutes.
yeah, and the worst experience I had, we were driving from Wheeling, West Virginia to Indianapolis, and Google Maps said about 4 hours, and we used 11 and a half. So
Sounds like you've made a wrong turn.
got it. Since well, it was construction work all the way through Ohio on the interstate, so we got to see every rest stop along the interstate in Ohio. And a vending machine is just just fun for a 5-year-old about this long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't give him any money. That's why.
Yeah. And let's see, Steve. We asked about, well, Bert's here, and Bert's
Bert.
the one with the ready terminal. We're kind of, I'm never getting to the point, but I don't know, Bert. You probably can't share your website here, though. But I'll try to find your website with your ready terminal and share that in the description later on. But Steve, what's going on your channel?
So I'm doing that ADSB decoder project, like we talked about before, and then later on today I'm on Ham Radio DX. We're going to be talking about the X6100 again. We're gonna very passionately, emotionally argue about whether the 705 or the 6100 is the better radio.
So, which is your favorite, Steve?
That's part of what we're going to try and find out. I have both, and I honestly use the X6100 more, and I'm going to Hamcation, and I'm thinking, which radio am I going to take? And if I take, I can't give away the whole show. If I take radio A, I've got to do a bunch of things, and if I take radio B, I've got to do a bunch of things. So be sure to join us on Hayden's channel, Ham Radio DX, at 2 hours from now.
Yeah. Are you gonna
2 hours from now?
Which of those do the TSA like the best?
Well, the TSA, oddly enough, doesn't seem to care about radios. It's really funny. You take a box with a little tiny screen. You take another box with a bunch of wires coming out of it that you can't see through, and then you take a huge amount of wire with you. And they're like, "Okay, go ahead, have a nice day."
My experience flying is that they care about the batteries. They don't care about the radio.
Yeah, so I make sure when I travel through the airport, when I go through TSA, I take a brand name battery with a brand name label with a website that I can easily go to. I won't take a homemade battery through TSA because I want somebody else to be responsible for that, the creation of the battery and the maintenance of the website and the argument when it comes to TSA.
Yeah.
Because what do I have to defend myself with if I have a nondescript battery with no labeling? I mean, there isn't any reason why you can't, other than you're dealing with someone who doesn't make batteries as a hobby. So
yeah. And Bert's website is bertclass.be. So you can probably find a picture of his ready terminal there. And Lionel comments that a homemade battery would look like a thing. So that's probably not a good idea to bring.
Yeah.
So, but I guess as long as you have brand name stuff and labels that kind of says what it is, you're a lot further than you would with homemade stuff, though.
Yeah, I have actually lost a battery that way.
I did.
Yeah, I lost a battery once because they didn't know what the battery was. Basically, it was a brand name one.
Yeah, there we go with Bert's ready terminal there. And I think there's a picture with the CRT monitor there as well, Steve.
Let's see if I can find that. There it is.
Yeah.
Baudot code. Yep, that's what this is. 5.
And I mean that is awesome, being able to get that up on a monitor like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd love to do RTTY with one of those terminals that do it on paper, just to have done it.
Yeah.
Just like to feel that this is analog.
Exactly. But you gotta, I mean, you gotta pay a lot of money for those, I think. And speaking of security, Stian comments here that he went to Monza for Formula One last summer, and they looked for guns, chainsaws, and power banks. So I guess radios would be safe going into a Formula One event.
Right. So Anton's asking if it's 5 bits or bytes, and I don't know if the term bit or byte is the correct term. It's called Baudot, Baudot, and it's
and that's
might be
that's
5 bit.
And Baudot is a name, though. It's the inventor of the Baudot code.
Yeah, it's definitely 5 though. You're right on that. I just don't know if they call it bit or byte.
I'm not really sure either.
It's boards, which is it's the same as you had on a dial-up modem. They also had boards, and the baud rate wasn't directly connected to the bit rate.
Right.
It's an analog measure of some sort.
Because usually bits
Yeah.
are a 1 or a 0, and then bytes are 8 bits. I mean, Anton knows this. I'm not calling him out, but so there's like a bits, nibbles, bits, bytes, megabytes, kilobytes, gigabytes, that kind of thing. And then for this, it's baud O. So
Yeah, it says
Todd's
on a very
calling me
quick
out.
Google search that 9,600 bauds is 9,600 bits per second. But if you look at like the baud rate settings in the programs, you can see that like a bit can change. A bit can be 7 or 8 bytes, or a byte could be 7 or 8 bits. So there are differences here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see that Bohr comments that baud is the number of state changes per second. So yeah. And so we made a QSO on Ready today, and that's really really good. I couldn't make it, but at least I brought Steve along, and you were able to do it. I should have done my homework and hooked up my amplifier, though. That would probably help a little bit. But we made it happen, and we've looked at the X6100, and I really like this radio.
There's a lot to like about it.
Yeah,
There's
and
a lot
I
to
like
hate
that
about
there
it, too.
is. Yeah, and I like that there is a lot of, or not a lot of, but there is some open source firmware coming out on it. And you've tried Armbian on it, Steve, haven't you?
I did, yeah. So I was the first person to, crack the console on this thing and get inside, besides the creators, of course. And then we figured out what the root password was. We were all thinking it was really super difficult, and we're going to take months to decrypt, and it turned out to be 123. And then I got a couple of different operating systems to boot up on it, and then this guy, Lynx 2004, created an Armbian distro for the radio and was able to do some miraculous stuff with it. And now this new guy, Oleg R1 CBU, has created an entirely new user interface that runs on the radio. And so we're just, the sky is the limit, which is where I thought this radio was going to go when it was first created. Because when you bought the thing, there was a lot of promises on the box that it didn't deliver on. Like if you bought the radio the very first day it came out, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth were advertised as a feature, but did not work. And still today, Wi-Fi kind of sucks, and Bluetooth half works. It does cat control over Bluetooth, but it doesn't do audio over Bluetooth. So you can control the frequencies, but you still need a USB cable to do the rest of the work for FT8 or RTTY like we're doing today.
Yeah.
So, but it's one of those things where it's a platform and it has a future. And Zygu's a small company, and then Oleg R1 CBU is an even smaller, person of one there who's doing all that work that he's doing. So it's one of those things that has a ton of potential in the right hands, and we're starting to get closer and closer to who the right hands are.
Yeah, it's fun to have seen how Zygu's radios have developed. Like the first one I had was the X108 Golf, which was a horrible radio, but it was cheap and it worked.
Yep.
And then the G90 and then this one, and they get better every time. So like the next ones, I would guess is going to be a better step up. But it would be nice to see them commit to being open source. That would help us a lot if they actually did that directly.
They're very closed off on what they do. I've communicated with them a couple of times, and it wasn't like, oh, hey, great, those are great ideas. I mean, like, if you go look at my channel, I've done a body of work on this radio. I've got the most videos out on this radio. I've taken this as far as it can go, and I'm not trying to brag on myself. I'm just trying to say where I am in the thing. So if I contact them, they should go, hey, it's Steve. Okay, yeah. This guy, he's on our side. He's working with us, and he wants to see this thing go somewhere, and he kind of has demonstrated that he knows what he's talking about. They're like, oh, thank you. How many would you like to buy? I already have more than I need.
But I would guess if you contacted ICOM and said, I've reverse engineered their firmware, they wouldn't be too happy either. So,
well, there's a difference between ICOM and Zygu. I mean, Zygu, if you've seen, there's a video where you get to take a tour of Zygu's factory. There's like 4 people that work at Zygu. All of the software, the SDR stuff, the STM32 code, and all that is all done by a contractor outside of Zygu. So they don't even write their own software.
Yeah, but the price point is the most important part here. It's good enough quality at the suitable price.
Yeah, about $600.
And I see that. Yeah, I paid. Let's see if we can find somewhere where it's priced in euros, though. So,
Last time I checked, it wasn't in stock anywhere. But
yeah, I paid about 7,000 Norwegian kroner.
There
I
is
think,
But
a licensing issue.
yeah, it was the same
yeah,
with me. Like that price, including VAT into Norway.
yeah, and let's see here. It's 695 euros from saigu.eu.
Is it in stock?
Yeah,
It
it
says
is
it
in
is,
stock.
yeah.
Nice.
Let's just bring this up a little bit bigger here. And let's see. Let's bring the right window up a little bit bigger. Yeah, it says in stock, and yeah, they have some stuff here though. You tried that antenna, the VG4 antenna, haven't you, Steve?
I have assembled the antenna. It's a very high quality piece of kit. I have not put it on the air because I have no way of getting it up in the air in order to put it on the air properly. Hi, Morton.
Hello.
Yeah, that was wrong button.
So I mean, it's minus 10 Fahrenheit, and we've got 3 feet of snow on the ground. So I'm not doing much outdoors right
No.
now. I did a Parks on the Air this morning from inside a heated vehicle. It was cold.
Yeah, but it's a big and heavy antenna, right? It's not a portable thing.
No, it's not portable at all. The thing is probably a good 15 foot tall when fully assembled.
Yeah.
And then it's got
Yeah.
radials that are built in, and that probably gives you another 3 foot of width, maybe even 4 or 5 foot of width. I'd have to measure it once it's fully, out the door. Right now it's sitting in the door at my ham club, so inside at my ham club.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it'll be nice to see when you see how good it is when you've tried it though, because it looks like a competitor to the Cushcraft antennas and all of those verticals.
Yep, the Cushcraft or the Hustler BTV is another one that's very similar. It's a multi-band vertical trapped antenna, and
Yeah.
the difference that this one has, and I don't know how different this is of a difference, is that it mounts up in the air 30 feet up in the air, I think is what it says.
Yeah, that's about 10
And-
meters.
Yeah, and you don't need to have a ground radial system because it's 10 meters off the ground. Where would you have to run
Yeah.
wire down to the ground in order to run ground radials. So the Hustler, on the other hand, is designed to be sat on the ground. One of the ways to install is to sit it on the ground with a humongous radial field. So roof of the
And,
car,
like-
yeah, that'd be funny. Can't drive anywhere, but we'll sit it up on the roof of the car.
Well, my go-to antenna for POTA was the MFJ 1979 until it broke last week, and it's nice on the car as long as the car is stationary, but it's not an antenna you'd like to drive with.
Yep.
I wouldn't
I've
drive
got a
with
couple of
ham
ham
stick
sticks sitting here, and they work great. I've just got to get a good mount. My car doesn't have flush mount body panels, so like my
Yeah.
hood looks like this by like fancy factory design work. So I got to figure out a good way to mount besides putting a triple mag mount on the roof. I don't want to put a mag mount on the roof. I don't want to scratch the paint up.
Yeah, I can't have anything on
Yeah.
the roof because like the parking cellars around here are so low that the car basically doesn't fit in anyways. I have like 10 centimeters to spare. So there's nothing on the roof.
Yeah, I got a 2-meter antenna permanently on the roof of the car, but that's pretty much it. And I got one of those tri-mag mounts for HF antennas, but I put that on when needed, and I got the rubber feet for it, so the chance of scratching your car is a little bit lower. But anyway, guys, it's been great to have you on. I see that we're past the hour mark here, so it's been great having you on, and I'm happy that we got ready to work. And I hope that that the Toads Discord member that was asking about it actually got something out of this. We at least got an hour of fun and trying something out, and hope the
Definitely.
members in the chat had a good time as well. And next week, I'll have Mark Smith on from Ham Radio Workbench. He's going to talk about the
Nice.
Open Headset Interconnect Standard, which I've been trying to visualize since I heard about it in the at the podcast. But it's going to be interesting to have him talk a little bit about what that standard is all about. So, and Stian asked if I got a new 2-meter antenna like the one I gave to him. No, I did not. So I only have my Diamond 2-meter antenna at the moment. Anyway, thanks for being on. Thanks for being in the chat. And
It was a lot of fun.
yeah. And yeah, so next week is Mark Smith. The week after that is Tim G5TM. And we'll see what happens after that. And there are some interesting videos coming on. So if you haven't subscribed, please do it. And please subscribe to these guys as well.
That guy.
You'll find them on YouTube. So
Yep.
thanks for being on. 773.
73.
73.
And we'll see how long it